Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into Spencer Talks NASCAR live, our first ever live show. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Spencer Urquhart here, ready to get into this thing. Michigan pre-race talk. We got the Michigan race today, I don't know to go as far as say one of my favorite tracks, but definitely a kind of a slept-on track that I feel like produces some pretty good racing a lot of times, but doesn't really get talked about. Only gets one date a year these days. Used to have two. I think they were all in the summer because we all know how cold it gets up in Michigan. But yeah, Michigan today is going to be a fun race, I would think. So got a few things to talk about here. We'll pull up the starting grid, and then we'll kind of go over each driver just briefly, and then we'll go over the playoff situation real quick, and then some brief silly season talk. That was actually going to be this week's episode was silly season. Unfortunately, didn't have the time to record it, but we'll plan on that next week. I know y'all love those silly season episodes. Both of those are by far my most viewed episodes, so we'll definitely have more silly season talk next week. Life's just been kind of crazy lately. I got sick and then had a busy week this week. We're going to get back on track here at the playoffs coming up. So, yeah, let's talk about it today. Firekeepers Casino 400. Let's look at the starting lineup here. Denny Hamlin on the pole, y'all. Denny Hamlin going to be driving the Yahoo car today, takes the pole. Tyler Reddick right alongside him. I believe Tyler Reddick is now the regular season points leader, are really close. Like, it's him, Larson, Hamlin, and Chase Elliott, I believe, battling it out for that regular season title. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Reddick can put together a good run. He's only got one win on the year, and that was at Talladega, kind of a fluke win. I know he's had a lot of speed this year, as evidenced by a strong point standing, so we'll see if he can get it done today. The Mickey D's Toyota, I think there's a good chance he could. And Christopher Bell, he's been really hot this summer. He had kind of a slow start to the year, but he's really getting going now, starting third. Kyle Larson, we all know what Larson can do. Been the best driver in the series this year, starting fourth. And we got Bubba and Chase Elliott on the third row. You know, this would be a race where Chase Elliott could make some noise. Still just only one win on the year. And then Bubba, of course, one of those playoff bubble drivers. This is an important week for him. He has really been strong lately. He has really closed that gap. He's right there with Bubba Chastain, Ross Chastain, and Chris Buescher. And as we see Ross Chastain here starting seventh, he's right there too. Then we got Ryan Blaney, William Byron, and Austin Dillon to round out the top 10. Gotta say RCR. RCR, they've been looking a little better. You know, Dillon legitimately had one of the fastest cars last week. I know he had the controversy with him wrecking guys, and then they encumbered his playoff win, but maybe RCR's figured something out. Dillon starting 10th here. And we got Carson Hocevar and Daniel Suarez, some more Chevrolets, maybe Chevy getting this thing going. And we got Kyle Busch, another RCR. You see what I'm saying? RCR looking pretty good. Yeah, not many Fords up front. Pretty much all Chevys and Toyotas up at the front today, it looks like, because we got our first Ford here. It looks like, he had Ryan Blaney starting 8th. He's been carrying the Ford banner all year. But Joey Logano 14th there, and then Brad Keselowski, Josh Berry, a couple more Fords there, and then Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, all the Fords pile in there in the middle of the pack, and then Ty Gibbs, Ty Gilliland, Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, Austin Cindric, Martin Truex, Noah Gragson, Ryan Preece, Zane Smith, Eric Jones, Justin Haley, Ricky Stenhouse, Corey LaJoy, Daniel Hemrick, John Hunter Nemechek, Harrison Burton, AJ Allmendinger, and Cody Ware round out the field. So there you have it. Man, Martin Truex Jr., I don't know what his deal is lately. He has not been good at all. Like, I know he's, retiring at the end of the year, but, man, he's almost seemed like he's, he's almost ready to hang it up already, man. But we'll see. Michigan's one of his better tracks traditionally. I know he's won here before, so we'll see if MTJ can get his ship turned around and reach victory lane today. Let's pull up last year's Michigan results, because I'm kind of interested to see how last year's race went. The next gen car, so kind of the data is kind of similar. Let's see. Chris Buescher actually won last year here at Michigan. Boy, would it be huge if he could go to victory lane, because he's in that playoff bubble situation, which we're about to go over here in just a minute here on the Spencer Talks NASCAR. First ever live pre-race show. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in. It's dope that we're going live because, I didn't expect it. But, this week didn't get to do a pre-recorded episode. So I was like, man, screw it. We're going live. We're just going to do it. We gotta give y'all something. So we're here and going live, and race starting here in just a minute. So I'm trying to get this in here before the start of the race. But, thank y'all for watching. All righty. And any questions y'all have, comments, drop them in on the stream. If y'all have any comments or questions or thoughts, there's hot takes, drop them in. You think I'm a goofball that don't know what he's talking about, drop it in. I will admit this. I mean, I'm a Kyle Busch fan, so it's been a rough year for me as a fan, but I've definitely enjoyed looking at it from more of an analyst perspective. But I'm not gonna lie, I still get down. I was yelling last week, man, about that Austin Dillon stuff. Boy, did that piss me off. And I mean, like I said, I like Kyle Busch. So, I mean, RCR, though, it's like Kyle Busch has just started with them a couple years ago. So I wasn't really worried about, I'm not really worried about rooting for other RCR guys. But, so that just was chicken shit. But the thing is, it's like Logano, Dillon, and Hamlin, they've pulled some crap too over the years, especially Logano. Kyle Busch brought that up this week when they asked him about it, and he's got a point. I mean, Logano's done some messed up stuff, but never as far as what Dillon did last week. So if y'all have any thoughts on that, drop them in. But let's go over last year's Michigan results. Chris Buescher won last year. Truex, we had mentioned him just a little while ago, starting second here. Finished second last year in this race, led 47 laps. Buescher, I believe, led the most, 52. Yeah, no one else led that much. Alex Bowman led 19, but he got taken out early last year with a steering issue there. Then Denny Hamlin, pole sitter this year, finished third last year. Brad Keselowski had a top 5 finish last year, led 15 laps. His home track. Kyle Larson had a top 5. Daniel Suarez had a top 10, led 12 laps. Ross Chastain. Both Trackhouse cars qualified well this year, ran well last year. And Kevin Harvick, well, he's retired. But Josh Berry had a okay qualifying effort. And Ryan Blaney. Eric Jones got a top 10 here last year. He just signed his contract extension with Legacy Motor Club. He can maybe be a sleeper to keep an eye on. Then we got Ty Gibbs, Austin Cindric, C. Bell, Logano, Corey LaJoy, Almirola, Harrison Burton. Bubba led 21 laps last year. He could be interesting. And Austin Dillon rounded out the top 20. Not going to go over the rest, just kind of scanning it to see if they had any lap leaders. Tyler Reddick didn't get a good finish last year, but he led 7 laps. Alex Bowman, I brought him up. And then the guys that crashed out, Josh Berry was driving for Legacy in this race, filling in, I believe, with Noah Gragson got released. And then William Byron had a problem early in the race, as well as Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch. So, we'll see if they can bounce back this year. But, that was a look at last year's Michigan results. Chris Buescher, Martin Truex, both winless this year. We'll see if one of them can keep up their momentum here at this track and go to victory lane here this season. I think Buescher's going to be hungry. That'd be something if it's another Reddick-Buescher battle for the win. You best believe Reddick's going to cut Buescher slack because, man, after that race where they were going, I think, that was Darlington where they were going at it. It looked like Buescher when Buescher's a big dude, like Reddick was lucky that Buescher wasn't more aggressive. But, man, if he'd have been, that wouldn't have been a fair fight. Buescher's a lot bigger guy than Reddick, but we'll see. But I would think Reddick would race Buescher a lot cleaner if they would get together again as far as racing for the win here, because I think there'll be 2 of the guys in the mix this year for sure. So let's take a look now at the playoff standings. So let's take a look at that here before we get to our brief silly season discussion. Or not really. We're just gonna go over the open rides. Next week we'll have the in-depth silly season talk. So not gonna have enough time to get into that too much here. But let's pull up the points here. As we see, Kyle Larson, the guy leading it. But Reddick now only 5 back. Elliott only 6 back. Hamlin 21 back. This regular season championship is wide open. So that's will be a fun battle. Keep an eye on. Regular season champion, of course, gets a lot of those bonus points. And Blaney, Bell, Byron all have wins. Truex our first winless driver. He was battling for the regular season title, but he's been struggling so much lately to where he's pretty much out of it. Keselowski, Bowman around out the top 10. And we got our bubble guys. Ty Gibbs has been slumping lately. Ty Gibbs, I'd say, is a bubble guy at this point. I'd say Truex still has enough cushion where he doesn't really have to worry too much. But Ty Gibbs has got to start running better. He's a bubble driver at this point, I'd say. Then you got Bubba, who's 3 points to the good with, well, actually, wouldn't say encumbered Austin Dillon's win. Chris Buescher and Ross Chastain are tied for the 16th spot, and Bubba there, 3 points to the good in 15th. And then, but this is just the regular points, Logano and Suarez behind them in the regular points. And then Austin Cindric, our other winner. Man, if it wasn't for that fluke win he got, he would not even be close to the playoffs. So where's the, okay, here we go. Playoff picture. All right. Let's see. Oh, they don't show the points. They just show, oh, here we go. Here are the points. Okay, so Truex is plus 78 to the good. And there's only, 3 races left? So you have 3 new winners. I'll just say Buescher, Bubba, and Chastain all win. Truex is good. His only concern would be if Ty Gibbs would catch him, and Ty Gibbs is 60 points behind him. And I highly doubt Ty Gibbs is going to make up 60 points over Truex in the next 3 weeks. So I'd say Truex's playoff chances are like 99%. Like, he's basically in. Ty Gibbs, though, I'd give him like at least an 80% chance. Like, he's still, I'd say, very likely to make it, but it's because, I mean, odds are not all 3 of these guys are going to pass him. You know, he'd need to get passed by all 3, Bubba, Buescher, and Chastain. But if there's a new winner, probably won't be this. Well, it could be Buescher. You know, it could be a new winner with Buescher or Truex, although Truex isn't really a factor. He's pretty much in anyway. But there's like a new winner outside of this. Like if there's like Kyle Busch, I'm not predicting Kyle Busch, but let's just say for some reason Kyle Busch all of a sudden gets it together this week. And then next week Daytona, let's just say a front row car wins it, Todd Gilliland. So that's 2 new winners right there. So then you got going in. So that's 2 new guys, 14, 15. So then for the 16 spot, you got a big old battle. Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, maybe even Chris Buescher if he doesn't win, you know. So that could be a real log jam of some really good cars potentially missing out in the playoffs because of this winning you're in. And NASCAR had to save face and encumber that win with Austin Dillon because I think they realized like there's going to be a lot of pissed off fans if they let Austin Dillon in and then have good cars like Bubba and Buescher and Chastain getting left out. Guys that if they get hot enough, they could make a deep playoff run where a guy like Austin Dillon, unless RCR's miraculously found something, there's no way in hell Austin Dillon's making a deep playoff run. So you can call it unfair if you want. I mean, there are some people that feel like Dillon got screwed with the penalties and stuff. I don't. I personally feel like he deserved to get the win encumbered because it was clearly intentional what he did. I mean, the spotter was literally yelling on the radio, rack him. I mean, it was so obviously a cheap shot, you know, just, and not really, it wasn't a personal cheap shot. It wasn't like Dillon was like, oh, I hate Logano and Hamlin, I'm wrecking him. It was just, it's the system. It's the way the system is. He just did it to try to preserve his playoff life because, I mean, he was well on his way to getting the playoff spot fair and square before that damn caution came out. Thanks, Recky Stenhouse, you know, just terrible on his part to get that caution out there. But bottom line is, though, that kind of would have exposed the system because if Dillon would have won fair and square, there's nothing NASCAR could have done. They would have had to accept that he's in the playoffs and, well, assuming he'd have stayed in the top 30 in points, because that's a rule. You got to be in the top 30 in points. But the win would have boosted Dillon up in there. And he got penalized. I think now he's outside the top 30 now because he got some points taken away because of that incident. So, but yeah, if it wasn't for all that, he would have probably, if it wasn't for that caution, he'd have probably won, and the playoff picture would look a lot different, be a lot more crowded. So, but yeah, let me know what y'all think. Comment who y'all think is going to make the playoffs. I'm personally going to pick, I think Buescher gets in. I think Truex, Gibbs, and I kind of think there might be a random winner, honestly. Like Daytona. Like, I kind of think Bubba and Chastain get left out unless they can win at Daytona. Bubba might be able to win at Daytona. Bubba's been pretty good lately, but I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to play devil's advocate and say, screw it. I'm going to go Todd Gilliland. I'm going to say Todd Gilliland wins at Daytona, man. Front Row Motorsports been really good. I'm going to go with Todd Gilliland. I think it'll be his first career win in the Cup Series. I'm going to say Todd Gilliland wins at Daytona and gets that last spot. So, all right, y'all. I think this thing, they're getting in their cars, y'all. So, real quick, silly season. Got to go over this because they had some news there. I'm going to pull up my chart here that I got, a little sneak preview for next week where I'm going to go over all this with y'all with the silly season. Because, we had a lot of stuff today this week with some news that came out, some rumors, with Kroger leaving JTG. So, that's going to be interesting to see where they go. Looking like RFK Racing is the favorite to land Kroger. And I was thinking, well, I mean, they'll just go sponsor Brad Keselowski a few races or whatever and Chris Buescher a few races. But no, they're saying they're going to try to get it to where they're going to be, a primary sponsor of a third car over there. Oh, my thing's glitching out. My bad, y'all. Live TV, people. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. It's still kind of bugging. I don't know what's wrong with it. Let's see. Can y'all see it? Yeah. All right. So Hendrick, no changes. We know they're staying the same. They had the wild rumor though about Justin Haley saying that if it wasn't for Alex Bowman winning at the Chicago street race, that Justin Haley would have been a candidate to replace Alex Bowman in the 48. Oh, that was kind of crazy, but just a rumor, but would have been interesting to see. But looks like they're staying the same. Same with JGR. Chase Briscoe in the 19 is going to, fill in for Truex, not Truex. Going everything else be the same. Penske, no changes there. 23-11, it was looking like they were going to get that third charter, but the way the winds are blowing, it's looking like that third charter is going to go to SHR. I mean, not SHR, RFK. And that Kroger will more than likely go over there, and they've been a sponsor of Ryan Preece before when he was at JTG. They're thinking Ryan Preece, the lead candidate to get the third RFK seat. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, that's the latest rumor. Preece to RFK with Kroger sponsorship, and then looking like Trackhouse will still get one of the leftover SHR charters. SVG, the most likely candidate, I would think, for there since he brings funding. Daniel Suarez just re-signed. He's officially back. But yeah, 23-11, they'll probably just have a third part-time car again. Sounds like Truex going to get some starts in that thing. Maybe Corey Heim a little bit, but doesn't seem like Corey Heim going to have a path to Cup just yet. And then Josh Berry taking over the Wood Brothers seat. And then the rest of the grid here, RCR, no changes expected there unless Spire would come up and buy out Kyle Busch, but it doesn't look like RC is going to allow that to happen. Looks like Kyle Busch going to have to finish out his contract, which runs through next season. Legacy just re-signed Eric Jones, so their lineup isn't expected to change. And then their third 84 part-time, I don't know if that's going to come back. Jimmy Johnson, I think, is about done with driving, so probably just be the two full-time cars next year. Front Row got one of the SHR charters. Gregson is official. They signed him. Ty Gilliland will be back. Zane Smith, I'm starting to think is going to be the third guy. I was saying Riley Herbst, but I don't know. Riley Herbst might not be in as much demand as we were thinking, but maybe he still get this seat. But if he doesn't get it, I kind of think Zane Smith will get it because I don't really know where else Zane Smith would go in the Cup Series as full-time because it sounds like Spire is well on their way to signing Justin Haley. Colleague, maybe Colleague, but I don't think he'd want to go to Colleague, So I think Front Row would be his best opportunity, assuming Trackhouse doesn't find a seat for him. Maybe he'd get the third seat over SVG, but I think SVG brings more funding. So Spire, it sounded like Justin Haley getting that 7 car from Corey LaJoie. Not confirmed, but that's the way the rumors are leaning. Michael McDowell, of course, announced in the 71, and then Hocevar will most certainly be back. Oh, AJ Allmendinger, this is some news. AJ Allmendinger announced full time with Colic. He's back, be back in the 16, and Daniel Hemrick, not confirmed yet, but I would think he'd come back to the 31 since he brings funding. Ricky Stenhouse looking like Kroger might leave. If they do, they could be in trouble, but he's under contract, so I think they'd be able to scrap up some sponsors to get him full time. They've been pretty good as far as they that team's always usually had funding. So, and then we'll see if they can recover though if they lose Kroger. Riley Herbst, Corey LaJoy, probably the most likely Rick Ware candidates, I would think, unless they can land better rides elsewhere. Herbst brings funding, so if they lose Justin Haley, I would think they would try to get a guy like Riley Herbst in there. And then LaJoy, he might have to split the ride with like Cody Ware and some other guys, since he doesn't really bring funding. In the Haas Factory team, Haas keeping one of their charters with Cole Custer, going to be the 41 there, Haas Factory team. But all right, y'all, that's going to do it for this one. Cars on track. Don't want to keep y'all away from the big action. So, yeah, go sit back, enjoy the show. Appreciate everyone that tuned in to the pre-race show. We'll be back with our regular scheduled podcast programming this coming week. So, yeah, we'll be back here. Yeah. Thank y'all for the first ever live Spencer Talks NASCAR. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.